tomato jam. Let's get cooking. Mic check 1 2 3. Does this thing work? Hello? Oh, hello everyone, and welcome back to the long-awaited episode of Fat Boy Cooking. It has been a minute. I know. I am sorry. 2 years in the making, but we will get that in a later video. Anyways, let's get to today's main focus: tomato jam, a sweet and savory, delicious spread that can go on any type of burger or sandwich that you please. Alright, so while I struggle to core out these tomatoes and almost stab myself in the process, let's talk about the key ingredients to make this wonderful, so delicious tomato jam. And believe it or not, we're going to be starting off with 2 pounds of Roma tomatoes that will be cored, obviously, because, you know, the core is, or the stem part is very bitter. So you want to remove that, and then quartered or cubed into 1-inch pieces, 1-inch dices, however you want to put it, followed by 1 big old cup of packed brown sugar. And then you're going to move on to a 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon of kosher salt, and 1 tablespoon of red pepper flakes. Alright, so moving on to getting these tomatoes prepped and ready, we're going to dice these. So the first thing I'm doing is cutting that Roma tomato lengthwise right in half, then taking that half, cutting that in half, and then cutting it into about 3 pieces. You're looking for about 1 inch on this dice. And then once you are done with that, just putting them all into a bowl, setting them aside for later use. Once you're done cutting, they are going to look like this, all wonderful, red, and juicy. So into a preheated pan on a medium-high heat, we're going to add our tomatoes. Start smashing those down right away, mixing them up. You want to release as much juice as possible to kind of help evaporate that liquid out of there. We're then adding salt. The salt is going to season it, but it's also going to extract some of the water out of those tomatoes, which is very crucial to kind of make that sticky jam consistency. Also, just making sure that you are mixing as much as possible is going to help. Adding in our apple cider vinegar, this will help season. The acid will also help break down those tomatoes. Do you kind of get where I'm going here? We're trying to extract as much as possible. Then we're going to let that mix come up to a boil. Once it's at a boil, we're going to stir in our brown sugar. Here's where things get a little more interesting. You start building that flavor profile. The sugar is going to start to caramelize. Again, mixing is very crucial. You just added sugar to this. You do not want to make a burnt, sticky mess in your pot. You know what I mean? That's just not delicious. It's not cool. Whatever. So then take that heat, turn that way down to a nice medium, and then we're going to add in our red pepper flakes. And then guess what? We just let it go for about an hour, just doing its thing, getting all jammy whammy, that's a new one. Anyways, just let it go 45 minutes. I just said an hour. What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? Let it go for an hour, occasionally just stirring it, mashing it up as much as possible. And we're going to bust out the brand new piece of equipment in the Fat Boy Cooking Kitchen. My wonderful immersion blender. This is like the first time I'm ever using this. Just taking that, blending all those chunky tomatoes down. Just one thing about this, don't be an idiot like I am. And don't forget to turn down your heat to about a low, otherwise you're going to get splattered with red liquid gold, I guess. It hurts. So I don't really know what's going on with this shot here. It might have been one too many hard Mountain Dews, but we're going to let this go on a low heat for about another 30 minutes just to kind of evaporate as much liquid as possible. Once that 30 minutes is over, transferring it into a smaller container. We're going to stick that in the refrigerator, let it cool down completely before we jar it up. So now the final step, jarring this tomato jam up. And I know for a fact that if you live in the state of Wisconsin, you have a whole cabinet dedicated to mason jars. I got to tell you, they are very, 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 very good containers for a brandy old-fashioned. One of my favorites. Delicious. Anyways, jar it up. Make sure that lid is on tight, and this will be good in your refrigerator for up to a week. So there you have it. Tomato jam. A spread that is absolutely delicious and will go well on any sandwich or burger, including the one at the restaurant I used to work at. We put this thing on everything, and it was just wow, to die for. Anyways, thank you so much for watching today's episode of Fat Boy Cooking. I hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to bust out a little dance move like this, and I will see you on the next episode of Fat Boy Cooking.